You're going to learn one of the most addicting things to play on guitar today, and we're going to just jump right into it because it is that fun. It's one of those things that once you learn it, you'll just find yourself playing it on loop because it's recognizable, it's really fun, and it just so happens to actually be really easy. First things first, before I forget, make sure to take your low E string, tune it down, turn the tuning peg to tune it down to a D note so it matches the middle D. This is in drop D. So you make a big D chord, it should sound nice and full and fat. Sounds like this. Yep, it's the chord progression to Can't Find My Way Home, and it is a catchy chord progression, and there's not a lot going on here. I feel like between the drop D and some of the bluesy notes that are infused here, that's what's really doing the heavy lifting. Your job is to just maintain a solid rhythm pattern. Let's go ahead and kick things off with the intro/verse. And this is really fun. God, this is really fun. And the chord shapes are 2-finger chord shapes. It's incredible. So let me go ahead and go over the chords first, and then we'll look at the picking pattern. The first chord shape is going to be this kind of a, we'll call it a C chord, for lack of a better term. And we're going to be in on the 3rd fret of the A string with your middle finger. Your ring finger is going to grab the 3rd fret of the B string. Everything else is open. Go ahead and strum from the A string down. The next chord shape is going to be kind of a G chord with a B in the root. So you're going to drop your index finger to the 2nd fret of the A string. Keep your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B. Now, this is where things get funky and bluesy. You're going to take your index finger, slide it to the 1st fret of the A, and replace your ring finger with your pinky. This is something I do for ease of the stretch. If you're able to keep your ring finger down, reach your index finger all the way to the 1st fret of the A, more power to you, please do it. So for that final chord, we have we have the C, the B, the G with the B in the root, and then we're gonna slide that index finger to the 1st fret of the A, pinky finger grabs the 3rd fret of the B. I mean, how beautiful is that chord? And then we wrap things up with a D. Okay, the first 4 measures of the song. Great way to practice, right? Just one strum for each chord. For the next chord, we're going to move to an F, just a mini barred F, 1st fret of the B in high E, 2nd fret of the G, 3rd fret of the D. It's your F. Slide that shape forward for your G. So 3rd fret of the B in high E, 4th fret of the G, 5th fret of the D. And then we're back to the D. So if I just do a strum for each measure, it would sound like this. This is the very intro and verse. It's just, somebody hears that and they're like, oh, Can't Find My Way Home. One of my favorite Blind Faith songs. I remember the first time I heard this song, I was blown away at how powerful it was. And then when I went to play it, it's powerful, but it's simple. There's not a lot going on. Pretty cool. So for the chorus portion, we're going to just stick to straight ahead strumming. Nothing crazy here. We're going to stick to that same rhythmic pattern. 1, 2, and 4, and. 1, 2, and 4, and. So it's just going to be 1, 2, and 4, and. 1, 2, and 4, and. So let me go ahead and go through the chords of the chorus. We're going to start with that B over G. So we're going to have the 2nd fret of the A string with your index finger, 3rd fret of the B string with your ring finger. 1, 2, and 4, and. 1, 2, and 4, and. Then we're going to move to an A chord, 2nd fret of the D, G, and B string. Same exact rhythm. 1, 2, and 4, and. 1, 2, and 4, and. Okay, so we go from that B over G to the A, 2 measures apiece, and then to a D, 2 measures. Same exact pattern, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. Now we're gonna go to an E minor, but things are gonna look a little different because you're in drop D tuning. So here's all I want you to do. However you play your A chord, however you fret those 3 strings, the D, G, and the B, take that across the low D, the A, and the D. That's gonna be your E minor. Now, when you do this, your guitar might sound out of tune. And I'll tell you why. It might not be a function of your guitar, it might be a function of your fretting. Our low E string is tuned down to a D. It has a lot of slack in it. So the harder we press, can actually make it sharp. So just be aware of that. You might hold it down tight and make it a little bit sharp. It's not the end of the world, just something to be aware of and adjust for. So again, we're gonna take what you use to fret the A string, or rather the A chord, and make sure that you do the same mechanics, the same orientation across the low D, the A, and the D string. It's your E minor. We're gonna do 2 measures of it, same exact strumming pattern. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and, okay? And I'm not really going whole hog on the strings. I'm actually just focused on the lower strings. You can hit them all. It's just a taste thing for me. And then we're gonna move to a G chord, but a subtly different G chord. You're gonna take, in my case, your ring finger, whatever finger is fretting the A string, slide it all the way up to the 5th fret of the A. And then you're gonna fret the 5th fret of the low D. That's actually a G chord, a 2-finger G chord in drop D tuning. Same exact rhythm pattern for 1 measure. 1, 2, and 4, and. The next measure is just gonna be 1, 2, and, so bass, down, up. Drop your index finger to the 4th fret of the low D, downstroke for a quarter note. Drop it to the 2nd fret of the low D, down for a quarter note. And then we're back at the D, open D. So that's kind of the turnaround coming back into, well, what would be the verse. So we're starting on that 5th fret, stacked 2-finger G chord. We're gonna do 1 measure basic strumming, and then that bass walk down. I'll count along with it so you can hear. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and. And then we go back into that intro. As you go through this, there's a couple different ways you can take it. I would recommend getting the chords under your fingers first with just single strums. Do kind of that quick little navigation of the chords and then bring in the strumming pattern. No need to pile everything on at once, just build it layer by layer. Now, normally I would spend a whole entire week with my students studying just this song. And the key, and this is extremely, extremely important, is breaking the song into its 5 skills and focusing on just 1 skill each day for around 10 minutes. On Monday, we focus on the main technique of the song. Tuesday, we focus on a guitar lick you can use within the song. Wednesday, we learn the scale and then use that scale to improvise over the chord progression. And yes, you can do this even if you're a total beginner. I promise, I've heard it from student after student. Thursday, we dive into the rhythm and chord progression, which is what you learned here today. And Friday, we learn a few fancy chord transitions you can use to spice up the basic rhythm, really make the song come alive. This method lets you skip the need for boring and repetitive practice by learning guitar directly through playing music. If you want to learn more and apply for the program, visit tacguitar.com. And if you had fun with this lesson and you want to try it again with a killer blues guitar lick, watch this video next.